Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bold Unstoppable Show. I'm Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And today we are going to be talking about something that's very phenomenal in the history of our world. As it's History Month, we're going to be talking about her story rising, writing the next chapter of women's history. So let me give you a little bit of synopsis about the show. Um, that we're going to be having today. This special Women's History Month episode is a global love letter to women who came before us and a wake up call to the women leading us now. We'll honor trailblazers, truth tellers, healers, murderers, rebels, innovators, and everyday women who change history without ever making headlines. My panelists today will explore how far we've come, where we're still fighting, and what it means to know that we are women of the future, in the future, and we're laying the tracks and the groundways for our future female generations. And so, again, welcome to the Bold Unstoppable Show, my radiant history making queens, and welcome to a powerful, heart stirring special edition of the Bold Unstoppable Show this evening. I am your host, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And today we stand in the middle of something sacred, which is Women's History Month. And while the world scrolls quotes and posts photos of iconic women from the past, I want to invite you into a deeper truth. History is not just behind us, she is actually breathing right through us right now. Her story rising is more than statues, textbooks, and documentaries. It's about grandmothers who sacrificed dreams so their children could dream bigger, the women who marched, protested, organized, and whispered courage into the ears of their daughters, the women whose names will never be trending, but whose choices changed the trajectory for entire families and generations. And it's also about us. We are women who benefit from the battles we didn't fight, and we are also the women called to fight future battles for our future generations so that they never have to face some of the things that we're facing today ever again. So today we're honoring the past, telling the truth about the present, and owning our responsibility for the future. If you've ever felt like your story didn't matter, or you weren't enough, or you weren't big enough, or you were not out there doing all the big stuff that you see other people doing, well, you know what? That is okay, because your history may not be what some of those other people's history are. This conversation is a reminder that every brave choice you make, ladies out there watching us, and the ladies in the house, is a choice you make that creates a chapter in your story, which is her story. And so grab your tea. I'm drinking some coffee right now. Your journal, have an open heart, and let's get ready to discuss Queens, because today we are rising together. So I have a phenomenal group of panelists with me today, and I'm just going to start with Anitra, and then we'll work our way around to Dr. Domonique and then Dr. Marline. So Anitra, tell us about yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This week is moving. I'm Anitra Green. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm currently a doctoral student at Widener University, so I feel inspired tonight as I'm surrounded by my other doctor sisters. I also am a wife. I'm a mother. I work in the school as a social worker, and I'm also the CEO of Tailor Made Behavioral Health Solutions. So as you can see, I'm pretty busy, but I'm excited about the conversation tonight, and the women who sacrifice and help me to get to this space that I'm currently living in. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Anitra. Thank you for your introduction. Dr. Dominique.
Hello. I am Dr. Domonique Revere, also known as Dr. Dom. So I am the founder and chief culture architect at Remedy, which is a boutique culture workforce development organization in the South Jersey and Cleveland areas. I always say I go into male and pale places and teach them the language of the land. So it's really about how do we create spaces where everyone not only feels, but are safe, seen, heard, and valued. I too am super excited for the conversation, to learn more, to pour in, but then also y'all to siphon out, right? Like we need to fill each other's cups and make sure that we're continuing to pour into one another. So super excited to be here. Thank you. Honored to be in this space and have my voice heard. So excited.
Thank you, Dr. Dom. It's a pleasure to have you. And Dr. Marline, tell us about you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Marline C. Duroseau. I go by actually Dr. Mar. Not enough space on my title to have added that. So excited to be here today. Of course, in great company. I'm excited for the conversation. I am a mom of 4. I'm a wife. I work as a chief financial officer and also a managing director of HR and leadership development. I also started my own company after writing my first book, after dealing with a 15-year infertility journey. So that has given me a way to build my resilience and also teach other women about resilience. And that's actually what my doctoral research was about, the lived infertility experience of women in leadership. So I'm really excited for this conversation because so many of us deal with all kinds of disruption that causes us the need to build our resilience, but we need to look at it as something that, will make us stronger, not keep us behind. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Marline. We appreciate you being here. Wow. I can't wait to hear more of what you all have to say. So let's jump in, ladies, to the very first question. When you think about women or a woman who shaped you the most, who comes to mind? And what is one lesson they passed on that still lives with you today? And we'll just go ahead and start with you, Anitra.
The first person that comes to my mind is my grandmother, who was no longer here. Her name was Gladys Hackett. And the one thing that she always taught me was to walk in a room with your head up, stand tall, and understand that you're everything that God said that you are. And that is something that I heard from a little girl. And so that's what I can hear her saying. And so I'm so grateful for that message because it's so important to have confidence. So she's the person that comes to mind first. And yeah, my grandmother.
I love it. And I can totally relate to that. My grandmothers, neither one of them are here anymore, but my maternal grandmother, same thing. You walk into the room with your head held high. You be proud of who you are. You don't let other people's stares intimidate you. And you show up and always show up in your best manner. And so it's funny. I think it might just be Black grandmas, but I'm just saying, they lay some game on us and we just little, we be like, listen, yeah, okay, grandma. But then as you get older and they're not around you anymore, not with you anymore, you realize the wisdom that they were bestowing upon you is what that's for the trajectory, right? Dr. Dom, what about you?
So for me, I would have to say my mother. My mother, as a single parent, she really impressed upon me to tend to your temple. So from getting 8 hours of sleep to making sure that you're drinking enough water to continuing to dream and believe that you can do all things. She was very instrumental in me never hearing the word no. So that doesn't mean that people don't say no. I just don't hear no, right? Like I hear, well, maybe not now, perhaps later, we'll try it a different way. But for me, it was definitely just her always continuing to show up and show up the best version of herself, but also prioritizing herself. I think so many times as women, we take care of everybody else, right? We wear so many titles, roles, responsibility, and sometimes we're put on the back burner. And the one thing that I remember my mom telling me early on and as a little girl is that if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of other people, right? That you have to make sure that you pour into other people or they benefit from the overflow. So definitely my mother. Yes.
I love it. I love it. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to get Dr. Marline's take on the lady that influenced her in her past and that still influences her today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back to the Bold Unstoppable Show in just a few moments. All right, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable Show. It's Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, with 3 phenomenal ladies. And so before we went off on our break, we were going to jump in and ask Dr. Marline the same question as to, who was the woman that shaped her, not just in her past, but that continues to shape her today in her life. And so why don't you share a little bit, Dr. Marline?
Thank you so much for that. So, of course, it is my mom. I am blessed to still have her here in my life. She will be 80 next month in April. So I'm so excited to celebrate her. And one of the things that she still says, and she said it so many times when we were younger, and as I got older, I learned to appreciate and understand. And it's something that I follow and keep for myself till today. And it's always show up how you want people to receive you. Okay, so when you walk into a room, you show up how you want them to receive you. When you're going to the grocery store, show up how you want them to receive you. When you're walking into that meeting. So to me, it was her way of saying, be confident, be you, don't be afraid, don't dim your light. But of course, she didn't have all those words to describe it. But as I got older and as I do my work now in terms of working with women, I'm like, that's what she's been instilling in me this whole time. Show up how you want people to receive you. So if you want to be received well, show up well. You want to be received like, okay, she got it going on. Well, show up like you got it going on, right? Dress the part, dress to impress, speak your mind. So definitely, I'm so excited that, of course, she taught us so many things, right? But for the sake of specifically answering your question, that still resonates with me today. Show up how you want people to receive you.
I love it. Oh, powerful words of wisdom.
I'm stealing that.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you.
I love that.
Show up how you want people to receive you. That's right. That's right. You show up looking like, Hoochie Mama, that's how they're going to receive you. But if you show up looking like that queen, that boss that you really want to project, that's what they're going to receive you like that as well. So let me move into our next question, ladies. There are women we learn about in school, and then there are women in our families and communities who were never recognized. Who is one hidden hero in your life whose story deserves to be told? Ladies, let's go ahead and start with you, Dr. Dom.
Oh, there's so many, but I would definitely say my second grade teacher, Miss Brown. I loved Mrs. Melva Brown from her rooter to the tutor. Like, she is one of and was one of those educators that saw you when you didn't see yourself, and not just in this was in second grade. So like throughout my education, and probably her and a principal that I had named Deborah Houchins, but they just believed in me and they poured in. And it was, to Dr. Marr's point, when I didn't show up how I wanted for people to receive me, like they were quick to say, hold on, get it together, right? Like, this is not who you are called to be. You are not walking in your purpose. You are not showing up the best version of yourself. So for me, it was, I would say both of them, Melva Brown and then also Dr. Deborah Houchins. Dr. Houchins is no longer with us, but it was something that I continue to take with me everywhere is, are you showing up as the best version? And are you putting out into the universe what you want to receive back, right? Like, you can't, again, be concerned with how people are going to receive you, what they're going to think, right? Your intentions, your impact is going to be what it is, but make sure that you are being the best version of yourself. So educators, we know, underappreciated, underpaid, and we also know that they make a profound impact on the lives of young people. So yes.
That's so true. Thank you for sharing that. That's so true. I want to give a kudos to all of our educators out there. When I was little, I went to school. I don't know if ladies, if you're familiar with California, but I went to school in East Palo Alto. Of course, it was predominantly African American. And there was a teacher, I believe I was in kindergarten. Her name was Mrs. Adger. And I remember her one day coming in from the playground. And I was holding my head down, and some girl had said something to me or something or other. And she came up to me and she said, Rochel Marie, why are you holding your head down? And I said, well, so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. She said, don't you ever hold your head down. No matter what somebody says to you, you keep your head upright, and you look them in the eyes, and you never, ever, ever let their words penetrate you where you feel like you got to hold your head down. Okay, I'm 61, and that has stuck with me
Yes.
to this day, because after that, I was that little chick that was like, yeah, I don't care what you say, I'm holding my head up. The funny thing is, I didn't see Miss Thatcher anymore. I went on, got to high school, went to college, got my first job working in electronics in Silicon Valley, and I happened to working with this lady named Lisa. Well, Lisa was married to Mrs. Adger's son, who grew up with my father. So Mrs. Adger knew my parents, but I didn't know that at the time. And I had the pleasure of seeing Mrs. Adger probably maybe 20, 21, 22 years later, and she still remembers the name, because I guess I look the same. And she said, "Are you holding your head up high?" I said, "You right, Mrs. Adger." I was like, "Yes, I'm holding my head up." I said, "What you told me that as a little girl, that stuck with me through all the channels, all the circuits, all the different ways I had to ebb and flow in life." And I always remember to hold my head up high. So, you never know what those words that someone says to you will impact you for the rest of your life. And then, of course, I taught my kids, like, so son, when I'm talking to you, don't you hold your head up. When anybody talking to you, hold your head up. So I'm yelling at you, but you still hold your head up and you look in the eye. That's a sign of respect. It's a sign that you are proud and you're attentive to what is being said. Man, this is bringing back such good memories. Okay, next question I want to bring in is, looking at our current moment, our political situation, social situation, economic situation, where do you feel that we've made the most progress with regards to women? And where do you feel the deepest ache is still out there within us that we're still fighting for and still fighting those battles to achieve? And let's go with you, Dr. Marline. What are your thoughts about that?
You know what? That's a fantastic question. And I can honestly say one of the areas that we've made significant progress when it comes to women is from people like you, Dr. Rochel, that is basically creating spaces that allow other women like Dr. Dom and future Dr. Anitra to feel comfortable and safe to have a platform to share their story. I think that for so long, women were always in this position, or at least feeling like it's better to be seen and not heard. Mm-hmm. And with today's, times, right, that we're in, whether it's economic, political, all social, all the things, I think that's changing. And a lot of that I attribute to, of course, the work that our ancestors put in ahead of us, right? And us then, and people like you taking that initiative to create the spaces to allow us to show up in our authentic self, right? As our authentic self, and be able to share our story. One, so that we can feel supported, right? And two, so that you're not alone in whatever else is going, you're going through. Because a lot of times people look at you, and if we're silent and we don't speak up and we don't bring our experiences to the forefront, that just means other women are still being silent, are still not bringing their experiences up, because at that point they didn't see something. So I think it's very important that representation, right, whether it's to speak up, representation to actually show up, representation to be able to have that safe space to share yourself, is some huge progress that we've made. And just real quick, as it relates to things that we can still work on, I think that I think it's important for women in the workplace to be supported throughout the different stages that we go through in our lives, without feeling guilty, without feeling like because or if we accept this provision or this help, does that mean they're going to take it away from me somehow in the future? Meaning, won't put me in for a promotion, probably first on the chopping block, because why? Oh no, well, she can't do it because, she needed a little bit of extra time for XYZ. And I think we still need to work on that, because women, quite honestly, can run circles around men, especially when it comes to leadership, management, multitasking, getting things done. And of course, I'm not saying that to male bash. That's not what this is. But I think just being supported, if not for anything else, to allow us to shine so that we can in turn help them. We need to work on that a little bit more. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. We have to take another quick break, but we'll be right back in just a few moments to the Bold Unstoppable Show as we talk about her story. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a few moments. All righty, we are back to the Bold Unstoppable Show. I'm Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, and I have my phenomenal panelists with me. We're talking about her story. It's Women's History Month. And so I want to dive into this question because Dr. Marline had left us with some really promising thoughts and things that we should do. But I want to continue moving forward with it. So, ladies, how have you personally wrestled with the pressure to be strong for everyone while also honoring your own humanity and the need for rest, grief, and healing? And Anitra, why don't you take that question for us?
Sure, this is an excellent question and very timely for me personally. I'm always of the mindset that women are expected, and I'm using women in particularly, expected to do it all. Right? Growing up, the famous saying that I never understood was a woman's work is never done. And I remember asking my grandmother, well, why is a man's? Right? I was the person who wanted to know, because that doesn't sound fair. She said, oh, baby, you'll just find out a woman's work is never done. And I was thinking to myself, I don't like how that sounds exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And it is exhausting, right? And now that I'm an adult woman, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I have a job, I have a business, I'm in school. So for me personally, and as a mental health professional, which is my career, my profession of teaching about mental health, I definitely hold myself accountable to practice what I preach. So my saying is, you can do it all, but not at the same time. So for me, it's okay. I'm scaling back my private practice because I'm working on my doctorates. And so I have this ebb and flow where I look at what my responsibilities are. And when I'm adding something, I'm also mutually taking something off of my plate. Because if we don't find the balance, that is what leads to burnout. I can't see 30 therapy clients and be in a doctoral program and help my only child who's a rising senior look for scholarships. So I have seasons where I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick this up. What am I taking off of my plate? And I just think that if you don't learn how to do that, you will burn both ends of the candle and you will find yourself, being burnt out. So I do prioritize. In this chapter, it's called I'm Working to Become Dr. Green. So now I have to take some things off my plate so that I can be a good student. Because when we try to do too many things at one time, none of it goes well, right? The business, when the clients are not getting their quality therapy, your papers are not good that you're turning in for school. So for me, I found that I have to figure out what is my priority in this season. And what, of course, my family, being a wife and a mother, even with that role, asking my family for help, saying to my husband, hey, you know how to cook, bro. You cook better than me. Okay. So
what we having for dinner tonight?
And I have a great husband. Shout out to him. But if we don't have these traditional roles that says that I have to cook, I have to clean, I'm going to finish my degree. My daughter drives now. So it's like, I'm going to need you to run some of your own errands because right now I'm doing research. So it's really about being able to let everyone know that this is how we can do this together. I'm not on a solo mission to get all of this stuff accomplished. And I just think that's my mantra. And that's really how I do it. Some people say, and I still get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, believe it or not. Because rest is not optional for me. I have to have a good night's rest in order to function. So that's what I do.
Okay. I love it. What's interesting, as you were talking, I was thinking about when I was, raising my kids, and I was running, a multi-million-dollar business in Silicon Valley, and I was going to school, and my kids were, had athletes and a dancer and actress and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking how did I do it all? And I just pretty much compartmentalized it. And I was a mom because I was raised, you cook every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for your family. So of course, I cooked every meal. But, I think about it, it was just the way it was for me. And there's days I don't know how I handled it. I'm taking on that role because I think I fell more into a traditional role of the woman does everything, even though I was, had multiple things that I was doing financially, but it was just the woman does everything. I'm sure I'm older than all you ladies, but she does everything. And so part of being strong for me, and I grew up around, I'm the only granddaughter on both sides of my generation of family, so I grew up around boys. Being strong for me was being able to do everything flawlessly, still get my rest, but still stand up to any male that was going to come at me the next day and act out. You know what I'm saying? And so now looking back, I'm thinking there were times that I didn't need to be as strong, and there were times that I should have incorporated the help of my spouse, like my kids, they had them doing so, but I should have incorporated the help of my spouse. But it was a lot of what I heard and what I seen and how I was raised growing up that I took on that strong coat of armor, which really, ladies nowadays, we don't have to do. And I tell any woman out there, share the wealth, spread the wealth. Don't try to do everything because you will burn out. It's not necessary in this day and age. Incorporate your kids. You got to prepare them before when they get out your house, because there's so many days that aren't prepared and they get out and they struggle and they falter and they go wayward and all kind of stuff happens. And we don't want that for our kids, our future generations. So most definitely. Okay, ladies, the next question is, have you personally wrestled with the pressure to not only compete with the male species or male gender in your family, but also to compete with the female genders in your family, cousins, sisters? I didn't have any sisters. Do you feel a pressure to do that? And if so, how are you honoring that pressure to compete, but stand in a space of open capacity and open, heartfelt relationships with those that you are, quote unquote, supposed to be competing with? Let's take you, Dr. Dom.
Well, child, I can't compete with anybody because I'm just me, right? Like nobody can be me. Nobody can be better at being me than me. So for me, I'm very, very similar to what Anitra was saying. Like I'm in a season of do less better. So if you are the queen of cooking dinner every night, sis, what we having for dinner, right? Like if you are the queen of organization, please get my calendar together, right? So all things aren't for everybody, right? Just like we aren't for everybody. So all of that to say, like nobody can be better at being me than me. So I know that there's a time, there's a place, there's a space for everybody, in giving them time and space to also breathe and hold space for them to be, right, who they are called to be as well. So I would say in my family, it's always, we know who the go-to folks are for certain things. How are we collaborating? How are we co-creating? So that's a big thing for me too, is co-creating as opposed to competing, so that everybody gets a piece of the pie, right? Like my blessings are not going to outrun me. You know, so me cheering for you, and I'm always going to be the loudest in the stands, right? Me cheering for you, for me, simply knows that blessings are in my backyard, and what's for you, sis, is what's for you, and what's for me is for me.
Amen.
I love it. I love it. And, words of wisdom, basically you stay in your lane, you stay in your lane, and when you stay in your lane, that ride, that Maserati in your lane feels so.
Come on, Maserati, yes.
It's like that S560 Benz, right? It's just so smooth, hitting, just glowing, right? Gliding. But staying in your lane is really, I think, something that we really should take. And then again, if someone is not staying in the lane, or if they have a difference of opinion, it's okay. It's okay, because sometimes so many of us powerhouse women want to indoctrinate, so to speak, others into our way of thinking. And when they don't fall in line with our way of thinking, then we want to ostracize them, and they still have a lot of value to bring into our lives. So very nicely put, Dr. Dom. I appreciate it. Now, how have you personally wrestled with the pressure of not just, again, the word strong comes up, but not with just being strong, but with the pressure of being able to handle all that you need to handle in your life and make sure that you're available for those that you love and care about? I know some ladies stress with that and they struggle with that. Dr. Marline, how are you able to handle everything you're doing in your life and still be present for those that you love and care about?
Yeah, thank you for that. First of all, between Dr. Dom and, staying in your lane, going to the right person that's good for certain things, that's one of the ways that I'm able to do it, right? And to future Dr. Anitra's point, listen, you can't do everything at the same time all the time. So one of the ways that I've been able to do it is my calendar helps me a lot. And I learned to definitely time block and be very, very, very intentional with my time. Now, what that means is sometimes, let's say you plan your week, on Sundays, just as an example, and you kind of know what's supposed to happen, until the next week daily. But then something may come up. And guess what? That's okay. The old Marlene would have freaked out because of that, because why? It didn't go according to plan. That's not in the calendar, or this didn't, pan out like I thought. But now it becomes every day, it's okay to prioritize what's important. And whenever that priority happens, if that means, okay, I'm not able to do the evening meeting because something came up with the kids and they need me more. Okay, well, my focus is intentionally now working with the children, right? And I can't be working with them, but thinking about, well, what am I missing? What if, because then I'm not present with them. And like, future Dr. Anitra says, at that point, I'm no good to them. Better I would have told the kids no, because I can't even focus on what I'm doing with them. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I've learned, I'm perimenopausal now. So on top of everything else, you just don't feel good, right? You're getting older, and every month, every day is different. So I've learned to do what I can intentionally when I can. I'm going to have my calendar. I'm going to plan it out. And I'm not going to overcommit, because that's another thing that being strong, being the go-to maybe, right? For so many different people, we overcommit. And it's okay to say, I'm not available right now, or maybe I can get someone else to help you. Or if you really want me, well, this is when I can do it, and do it without feeling guilty. And like my mom always says, she still says it now, there is no award at the end of your life for what you're going to get trophies for being the one that held everything at the same time. Like, there's no award, right? And not to say that you necessarily do things for awards. She's saying it in the sense of you're burning yourself out for what? So you're still going to get everything done. I still get everything done, but it has to be prioritized. And whatever I'm actually in, you're intentional with it at that time until the next day.
Love it. Great words of wisdom. Love, love, love it. I want to move into our next question real quick. When did you first realize that you were part of women's history, and that your choices, your voice, your work actually mattered on a generational scale? And I'm going to go with you. Start with you, Dr. Dom. You seem to be the baby in the bunch. So when did you
I think early on, like, my mom always reminded me that I was that girl, that I had something that was unique and brilliant and special about me, and that I didn't have to fit into a mold, right? That I could break out of societal boxes and norms and, things that people thought that I should do, like, be. So honestly, I don't ever remember a time when I didn't know that I was, right? And even in my becoming stages, or even in the different seasons of my life, because of my faith, first and foremost, and who I'm called to be, and then what I know and how that aligns with my purpose, I'm always continuously walking in that truth, and always trying to be better, again, lift up those that are coming after me, honoring those before me, but then also being in the moment. So again, to Dr. Mar's point, being intentional. So, for me, I always knew I was her. And again, I don't say that in a cocky way, but just in a very confident, again, what's for me is for me type of way. Yeah.
Well, honey, claiming your truth is not cocky at all.
Confident.
Apologize for it, right? You're just claiming your truth. And, it is what it is. People can accept it or not. Who really cares? It's your truth. And so stand and you command your throne, and you stand hold your head up.
Straighten that crown. Yes.
Straighten up your crown and just command it, because, I think that sets the precedence not only for you, but, there might be some young ladies looking up to you, right? And when they see you handle yourself in various situations very eloquently, because, everybody expects us to be ghetto when things don't go our way, right? I'm just going to put it out. I don't know. But when you handle it with eloquence, and sophisticatedness and just, professionally, it puts not only you, but people that look like you in a different mindset when others approach us. And you ladies know what I'm saying. When others approach and expect us to act out like what they think we're supposed to act out like. So it's beautiful. I love your wisdom. You're so cute.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, let me take a quick break and then we'll go into our last few moments of dialogue. You all stay tuned. We'll be back to the Bold Unstoppable Show as we continue our mission of just being ladies with her story in Women's History Month. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Okay, welcome back. It's Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, and we are Bold Unstoppable Show. We're celebrating Women's History Month, and we're talking about her story, which is our story. And not only you see 4 African American women here, but we are also representation of every woman out there. Just because we are African American, don't mean that no one else can relate to our story. And it may be a little different. Characters might be a little different, but the message and the journey that we walk through can be very similar. So, ladies, I'm going to ask this question: how can we do a better job as women of honoring each other in real time, instead of always celebrating women once they're gone or once they're famous, once they've done something that's out of the norm? How can we do that? Let's go with you, Anitra. Let me have you answer that question.
I would say, it starts with really honoring people and giving people their flowers while they're here. If there's someone who's inspired you, shoot them a message, send them a card, call them and tell them that they're important to you. We do often wait until people are no longer here. I love when I see buildings named after people and they're standing out front of the building at the ribbon cutting ceremony. I think that it's so important to honor those that are living. I also think that it starts with just giving a sister a compliment. So often, as women, that whole myth of women can't get along and, a lot of competition that happens amongst us and some of the myths, I think we have to work hard to show that we're bigger. We're collaborators. We're not in competition with each other. When you're winning, I'm winning. If I have something that I can share with you, I'm going to share it. If you come to me and say, hey, how did you start your business? And I have a moment to share with you, hey, this is what I did, these 3 things. And sharing our knowledge. I think that we honor each other by helping the next generation as well. So pouring into mentoring. I'm big on that. I have a lot of young women who are aspiring social workers, aspiring business owners, aspiring authors. So the things that I've done, I think it's important to pass the baton. Sometimes we can get so focused on what's next for us that we have to remember to pull the next generation with us and to share some things with them so that they don't have to go through some of the barriers that we've gone through. So I'm really big on that as well, because I think that's how you build a legacy, is making sure that when you get in a room, you pull some people with you.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Pull another sister up and then have that sister pull another sister up. And eventually we're pulling all the sisters up so that we can all stand in our greatness. Real quick, I'm going to go through each one of you. I want you to name a lady in history that resonates with you. And when you need someone outside of your family to dig down deep and just channel their energy, who is that lady for you? So let's go with you, Dr. Marline. Who's that lady for you?
You know what? I thought I was gonna say somebody else, but then someone else popped into my mind, and I think it's Justice Ruth Ginsburg before she passed away. Let me tell you, that lady fought until the end.
I know.
And just the idea, she embodies exactly what future Dr. Anitra was just saying.
Yeah.
Fighting for others, complimenting, not giving up, right?
Yeah.
Being that example. And for some reason, after reading her story, I said, my God, like from day one until the day she left, she was fighting for others. So, and of course there's more, but she is who popped in my brain just now.
So we're recognizing and honoring Dr. Ruth Ginsburg today.
Yeah.
Dr. Dom, who's that lady for you?
I'm going to say Angela Davis, right? Like Angela Davis will tussle and at the same time, to your point, like do it with such eloquence, like cuss you out and not you don't even know it, right? Because it's just so good. But again, an activist at the core, right? So well-read, well-informed, an activist in that it wasn't just about one or the other. There was an and in there, like two things can be true at the same time. So I would definitely say that's whose shoulders I stand on, especially when it comes to my work, seeing as how it sits at the intersection of diversity, equity, and inclusion and leadership development.
I love it. Dr. Angela Davis, Oakland, California. I'm a Cali Bay. So, and her teaching at UC Santa Cruz all those years after, the Black Panther movement. I know she had some struggles. Santa Cruz, back then especially, didn't look like us. There was no diversity, but just the strength of a Black woman that's educated is so powerful. Dr. Ruth Ginsburg, she was a little tiny white woman, but she stood for the strength of all women. And she, like you said, she fought from day one to her last day of trying to make things better for women. Anitra, who is your lady?
The late, great Dr. Mildred Joyner. She was my first professor in social work. She was the first African-American chair of a social work department at Westchester University in Pennsylvania. And having her as a professor changed the trajectory of my life because she modeled that Black excellence. Right. You have a history maker. She was married to a judge. She passed 2 years ago. She literally pulled me to the side one day and said, "You're not going to stop at your bachelor's. You're going to get your master's in social work because you told me you want to be a therapist and you need to get a master's." And I'm like, "Well, I don't have any money. Where am I going to get the money? Can you help me?" "Oh, call Grady Roberts at University of Pittsburgh. Tell him Mitt sent you. I want you to apply." So she literally walked me through the steps. I got a 4 ride to Pittsburgh. I got licensed. And so I always carry her because she definitely walked in that room with embodying all the things that we talked about. And she looked great while she did. She made it look easy, but she held her class to a high standard. And so for me, I think about her. I think about my career as a
What's her
social
name
worker.
again?
Mildred Joyner. Her nickname was Dr.
Mildred. Today we're honoring Miss Mildred Joyner on the Bold Unstoppable show for Women's History Month. So for me, I learned about this lady as a little girl growing up in an all-Black city, East Palo Alto, and going to school where they really did teach us about Black history, which doesn't really happen today in elementary school like it did back then. Remember, I'm a child of the 60s, so the Black Panther movement was going on, and there was the free breakfast program, and all of that was rolling out. But the lady that comes to mind, and anytime that I've been troubled at my crossroads or whatever, this lady brings strength, wisdom, determination, fortitude, wherewithal, and smart, and it's Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, I have a close affinity to her. I always have since I was a little girl. But as I grew up and learned more about Harriet Tubman and the strength that she had, what she had to endure was unbelievable. And not only that, how she risked her life to save others. She even was part of the women's suffrage movement when she knew darn well people like her were never at that time going to get a chance to vote. But she still stood up for representation and us having the right to vote. She was a spy for the Union Army and going into territories and getting all this information about the Confederate Army that she could feed back to the Union Army. She is a lady that when it comes to the strength to be beat down and rise back up, to be beat down and rise back up, to be beat down and rise back up, and use your wisdom, your strength, your knowledge, and your fortitude and your relationship with the divine, that is Harriet Tubman for me. And so anytime I'm at a crossroads, I'm feeling bad, it's like, woo, let me channel my late great ancestor from somebody, another mother back in the day, Harriet Tubman, because she is an epitome of just true strength, wisdom, fortitude, survival, and love. Again, she risked her lives to save others. And as she said, she would have been able to save more if only they would have known they were slaves and not this was our stuff, but they were property of whoever our stuff was. And so today I'm saluting and honoring Harriet Tubman, and she's always going to be with me. All right, ladies, now it is time to close out the show. I want to thank you for your time tonight. It has been a wonderful conversation. I love how we all came together and had words of wisdom to share, not with just people who look like us, ladies who look like us, but ladies around the world of all different races and colors. Just because we are 4 African American women does not mean that you can't take the information, the words of wisdom, the guidance, and all that we shared and incorporate it into your life as you begin walking your journey, as I say, down your path to bliss. So my heart is full, my spirit is lit, and I know my ancestors are smiling. Today, we didn't just talk about women's history. We remember that we are communication and every part of women's history. We should never, as women, refuse to give up, sit down, or stay silent. And to my powerful panelists, I want to thank you for bringing your grandmothers, your aunties, your mamas, and all the hidden heroes into this space with us. You reminded us that history isn't just made in markers and microphones. It's made in living rooms, boardrooms, classrooms, and at kitchen tables. To my beautiful, beautiful queens, young, old, middle-aged, out there watching, Black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever you are, women, we need to come together more than ever in this day and age and support us. Stop looking at the color and look at the gender, because we are fight for our rights, and we cannot let those rights that so many women before have died for us to have be taken away. I want to say, please don't underestimate your life. The way you love, the way you fight, the way you heal, the way you rise, it all matters. It matters more than ever today. If this episode touched you, share it with the woman who has shaped your story. Let her know that she is part of not only her story, but she's part of your story as well. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another moment of this beautiful, bold, unstoppable movement. I'm Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and this has been a special Women's History Month edition of the Bold, Unstoppable Show. Now, until next time, we honor the women who came before us. We honor the women that are with us today, and we honor the women that will come after us. And we live in a way that makes women feel proud to be a woman. Until next time, everyone, I'm wishing you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, tranquility to your spirit. Go out and be bold. Command your throne like you were Queen Nefertiti back in the day, and take no shit from no one that tells you you can't do something. And yes, I said that word. Until next time, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you for joining us.